Here we go. Vintage cube right off the top. Shelldock is great. Leovold is great if you're doing draw 7 things. Prowler's good. Reanimator enabler. Lily's good. I think it's Shelldock. It's more versatile. Like Leovold's great, but it's committing me to 3 colors right off the top. Very hard. Blue is one of the kings of vintage, you know, as far as there's just so many cards you want to draft and so many archetypes that dip into blue that I think Shelldock is decently safe. Otherwise, it's like commit to memory, Nahiri, Leovold, and then maybe the Prowler, but that's really going, like, you don't want to take the Reanimator enablers until you know you're going into Reanimate. And guess what? Shelldock, yeah. Oh, what was in this pack? What was in this pack? Ancestral and a Mox. Ancestral and a Mox. Okay, everyone, there's Ancestral and a Mox. Pick 2. And a Natural Order. Black Lotus, like, maybe Black Lotus, maybe Channel, maybe Tinker. Like, that, or a better Mox. The person who's getting this third pick is going to be so confused by this pack. I am tempted to grab Natural Order because it is one of my top tier cards in Vintage. But I just think like Shelldock Ancestral. Shelldock Ancestral is just so strong. Here, there is Show and Tell, but I don't know. Show and Tell works with Shelldock in that Shelldock, if you can get an Emrakul under it, hey, that's one of the best things you can cast with it. And then Show and Tell is another way you can get an Eldrazi into play. But I think with what I'm drafting, like cheap card advantage, I think Spell Pierce is actually the pick. As like a, hey, I'm just cheap, flexible blue things. And I do kind of also have an inroad to Storm if I want to do that. Wow. Here, there's Expansion Explosion, which honestly, Expansion Explosion might come back around. Treasure Cruise really is only the best if you have a lot of fetch lands. There's Dark Six Shores. There's also Frost Titan. And then there's Tundra. I think I'll grab the Frost Titan as an actual win condition. And for now, I'll stay mono blue. Control. Wow. So, Brazen Borrower is actually quite impressive in Vintage. A lot more than I thought. Being able to balance one thing becomes really relevant against Reanimate or, like Splinter Twin if you want to break up the combo. Or if they've tinkered or natural ordered something out. But I think I have to go Force of Will. Like, especially if someone just broken things turn 1, it's just such a catch-all card. Here, there's Control Magic, which is amazing. Or there's also Through the Breach, which Through the Breach goes well with a Shelldock Isle deck. I think I like Chart a Course. I think I like this idea of just like, I'm going to be drawing a lot of blue. I'm going to be drawing a lot of cards, and those cards are going to get me to Shelldock. Control Magic is very good, though, but there are decks it doesn't work against, and it costs 4. And like, I want a lot of my deck to be super, super duper cheap. I will go Lotus Bloom. Once again, I'm drawing enough cards, so the bottleneck now is going to be actually playing things. Here, Mentor is very good, especially in this deck that's mostly spells right now, but I don't know if I'm playing another color. And the Skydiver also has a lot of very good use cases, and it stays blue. So I'll grab the Skydiver for now. Here, I don't know, like Nahiri. Potentially Nahiri is good if I'm trying to like Shelldock and Emrakul, but that's iffy. I think I go the Spire Bluff. Canal. Here, in case I do, well, there's 2 things. In case I do Storm, there's Desperate Ritual. There's also the Talisman. interesting in like Talisman and Frost Titan. I can lock down the Talisman so then they can't use it. Or I can Thieving Skydiver the Talisman and get it back. I actually kind of like both of those combos. Here I'm just going to grab the dual land in case I need it. Here, while there is Treasure Cruise, and I now have Lotus Bloom, and no, I don't have enough things that I'd rather, like if I grab a white Shockland of any sort, I now have red, white, and blue off of that. Yeah, sure, I'll grab the white counterspell just in case, probably not playing it. I'll grab the Forge Master. This is definitely not an artifact deck. Like, if in the first pack I only get 2 artifacts, then on average I'm going to have 6 artifacts, which means I need half of my deck to be able to Forge Master for one of the only other 3 artifacts in my deck. Bad odds. So, Upheaval, but I don't have that much fast mana. Upheaval is a catch-all in that, like, doesn't matter what your opponent's doing, Upheaval is a potential, like, gotcha. Let's start this game all over. But I do think it is Tef. There's also this Thief, but I think here it's Tef. I'm still thinking that it's Tef. Sure. Here, I do need more ways to actually win a game. So there's Image, there's Wurmcoil, there's Metamorph. Image and Metamorph are great, but once again, I need ways that I can actually win the game. Day of Judgment is good, especially with the Tef, but I think I go Wurmcoil as a semi-resilient threat. I'm also tempted to do Ugin, but it's a little expensive. Wurmcoil and Frost Titan, I can realistically get on turn like 4 off this Lotus Bloom. And there's a Tinker. So now that I have Wurmcoil and I have this Tinker, I think the plan is... Oh, I dropped something. I think the plan... Tinker is one of my favorite cube cards. I think the plan is to try to Tinker something out, and maybe I can get a bigger threat. Ooh, so there's Ancient Tomb, which does let me play things out. There's Batterskull, which is on the lower end of Tinker targets. I think it's just the Jace's Vryn's Prodigy. It gives me access to potentially another Ancestral, and it lets me draw what I need. Here, I think it's just swords. Niv, Niv. There's Porcelain Legionnaire, which is a Tinker target. There's also this Temple Garden, which would give me 4 colors if I have a white fetch. But I think it's just swords. Here... Inspector is interesting because it does give me a tinker thing. Trinket Mage. Tinker Mage. Trinket Mage allows me to find the Lotus Bloom, but I think it's just Colonnade. Colonnade does do some broken things. Well, I do like the Inspector. I think it's Colonnade. I need ways to shore up my land. So... I don't think this is a Ravage of War deck. Tidetaker is interesting, but I think it is Lotus Petal. Especially with the Ancestral, I don't necessarily mind the card disadvantage. It's a Tinker target. It can allow... I suddenly stopped because now there's High Tide. What does this deck do with High Tide, though, is the big question. Like... Is it better if I just get Gear Hulk so that I can, you know... redo some of my... I mean, I really only have 3 instants right now. 4 with Force. I think it's Gear Hulk because... I think this is not a Storm deck, and it's too late for me to try to do a Storm deck, I think, with the cards that I have. So I think it's Gear Hulk. I might be playing more white than I... this is what I would do. These are what I would do with the High Tide. But I can always grab the Upheaval just for funsies. If it's a turn that, like, Lotus Bloom is coming down, if it's late in the game, then I'm going to grab the Mom, but definitely not going to use her. Sorry, Mom. Here, definitely don't want Spirit of the Labyrinth. I'm not going to be drawing that many cards. I'll get the Winds of Abandon. Here, there's Sun Titan, which is always interesting with like Tef. I think it's just Batterskull as a potential tinker, and like against fast red, you can do things with it. Flicker Wisp would allow me to reset the Batterskull. Now Trinket Mage gets 2 different things. Ooh, and I even got the Tithe Taker. So I'm looking for more Tinker targets and more ways to find Tinker. Like Mystic Tutor. Mystical Tutor. Ooh, wow. So there's Balance, Miscalc, Sundering, the Seacrum, or the Shark Typhoon. Balance is just always broken, but the problem with Balance in this deck is I don't have that many artifacts to throw out to make the balance unfair. And I'm going to be drawing more cards, so like, I mean, maybe the thing is we go down to 3 and then I Ancestral up to 6 after the balance, but I think balance is probably going to bode better for my opponent. I like the Sundering Titan, especially if I get that Seacrum Coast around the corner. I like the Sundering Titan. It's one of the good Tinker targets, so I'm going to grab it. And I do need more Tinker targets on like the, not to grab, but things to sacrifice. This Verdant doesn't, I mean, I didn't get the Temple right. So this Verdant does not get any of my, yeah. I think it's just Cryptic. Cryptic, Rather God is good too, but I think it's Cryptic here. Oh, wow. So there is Urzra, which is great. It works with Upheaval, but this isn't necessarily, I think it's Mystic Tutor. Why is it Mystic Tutor? Mystic Tutor allows me to get Tinker. It allows me to get Ancestral. It allows me to get Force. If I'm afraid of that, it allows me to get Sword. Upheaval in a pinch. There's so many good things. Mystical Tutor is good. So here, I really want the Blades. I kind of really want the Blade Spicer because of the makes an artifact for Tinker. But I'm gonna go with Narset. And I'm still low on. I might just go off color Signet, believe it or not. Yeah, Baneslayer is good against like the red deck, but I already have Batterskull and Wurmcoil. Like I'm pretty set against those decks. I think I just need more Tinker sack outlets. Not going to be an Exar deck. I'll never be able to attack with 3 creatures. Catamoon's good, but I don't have an artifact that I really want to get back, and it's going to dilute my mana base even more than it already is. I think it's just the delta. Here, there's Crucible. There's Concealed Courtyard, which, thinking about it, I could keep this Wishclaw Talisman both as something to grab and as a way to find Tinker. It's both something I can sacrifice with Tinker, and it's something that can find a combo piece if I need it. But I would need a little bit more black. I have the Polluted. If I grab this Concealed Courtyard, then I have yet another black source. Daze is great, but I think it's Revoker. Revoker has many use cases in Vintage Cube. Sometimes it can be deceptively backbreaking, and it's a Tinker outlet. So I like the versatility there. Balance came back around, but once again, I really don't think that this is a balanced deck. The best use case for balance in this deck is as a cheap Wrath, and I think, well, I mean, how much white do I really have? Do I? Maybe I do grab balances because I can always Mystic for it. Here I'll grab Wrath of God. I don't think I play it in the main. This doesn't really matter to me. I'll grab the Imperial Recruiter and make... I think Imperial Recruiter sort of has a deck. These other cards kind of fit. Angra's Rampage, I would say, probably gets played the most out of these. Here, I'll grab the Metalworker maybe as the lamest Tinker sack ever. This, I'll take someone's Shallow Grave if that's the deck that they're playing. If someone can make Mythos work, they deserve to make it work. And I get an Unexpectedly Absent as like my second to last card. So is this the deck that I want to play? I don't want Winds of Abandon in the main since I have Swords and I have Mystic, so I have functionally 2 copies of Swords. Don't need Lapse, don't need any of this. I don't think I'm going to go deep into white. So I think I'm good. And I think I do like keeping. So now I have 5 Tinker targets. Yeah. I'm happy with this now. I have 5. In a pinch, both Batterskull and Wurmcoil work as Tinker targets if I keep them both. So it is worth, I mean, and Tinker allows me to find things, or Trinket Mage allows me to find things too. So I've got to find the, I've got to find what's not good about this deck. So, and I mean, Torrential and Wurmcoil can also be Tinker targets. Off the bat, on the chopping block for me, gonna be, I like all this cheap stuff. Balance has its issues, but I think it has made the cut, all things considered. Because at the end of the day, even if I have to discard a lot of cards to get rid of your creature, because you've been playing lands and creatures, throwing things on the boards, I've been playing lands, no creatures, I'm gonna have more cards than you. But if I can wrath the board for cheap, it might be useful, and all I really need is 1 artifact and to eventually draw this Tinker. Torrential Gearhulk only gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, it does get 2 counter spells, but on the chopping block for me would be Torrential and maybe Torrential and Batterskull. Upheaval's up. Well, I can Upheaval at it as an instant via Tef, which could be very useful. Upheaval just solves so many problems. I think. I think the awkward cards here are Batterskull and Torrential, and it does mean I don't have that as many win conditions as I might like. So I have to watch out for that, but I think that's the way we go. And these are our win conditions with Upheaval as a reset button. And then this actually can steal an artifact, and this kind of works both as a sort of win condition and extra copies of my best. Yeah, I'm comfortable with this now. That basically ends 2, 1, 14. Sure. The only black card I have is this Wishful Talisman, so I think I'm going to add Polluted Delta. I will keep 1 swamp because it allows me to find it. Courtyard, Concealed Courtyard, Tundra. This, I get rid of all this white. Because functionally now I have 1, 2, 3, I have 4 white. Throw in this, take out these. And away we go. Away we go. Here we go. And yeah, so that's why I don't have anything that costs 2 white. Sure. What am I hoping to do with this deck? I'm hoping to draw a lot of cards early. I'm hoping to, I think every time I counter spell something just to have sound effects, I go, that's a fun one. And anytime I tinker, maybe it's this one. That was like laboratory door opening up after we've completely changed whatever the thing is. Next time there's Vintage Cube, I'm going for that #1 undefeated trophy spot. I want it to be mine. was just singing Christmas music. I had to stop myself. Going all the way down until... Woo! Oh, wow. As soon as you get even halfway, it's 2. Interesting to note. Waiting for an opponent. Yeah, so I'm just hoping to early tinker, delay until a tinker, or if the game goes too long, upheaval on like 9 mana and be able to play a bunch of things. I would like to play first. Thank you. I will keep this because of the Ancestral. Shelldock is also interesting. I'm guessing I'm grabbing a Trinket Mage then. Cool. These lands are going on the bottom. Now, the problem is I would have really loved to have drawn those lands. But, c'est la vie. No! No! What? What? This is jank. I needed that so bad. I needed that land. Wow. Wow. 1 strip mine and I am out. This is a ridiculous. So because I have balance, I can, there's lots of things I can, thank you, do. Like if I get behind on lands and stuff, I can balance the situation. Sure, although they now have does this succeed? It does. Great. Oh, I can tinker now. I think if they had a counterspell, they would... Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have played this land specifically. But we live with our mistakes. So here we go. We play this. I think they've just F6 tinker this. Get out the Sundering Titan and destroy 1, 2, and I have to 3. Done. There we go. Now if they bounce the Sundering Titan, I get to get rid of their... Ooh, that's interesting. Attack of the Titan, play the Jace. The next turn, Celestial, and the turn after that, hopefully I'll have Cryptic backup. Yeah, so I definitely should not have played that Tundra, but it shows the power of Tinker. Oh, sorry. Great. I think I'm fine against this deck. We'll see what they have. So the reason the Tundra was a mistake is because it put a plains out as a type, and so I then had to target it as a Sundering Titan instead of keeping it back. It didn't matter because Tinker is so broken. But something to is this game gonna start the exact same way? I'll let this game start the exact same way. Once again, oh, and I have one of my Tinker card targets in my hand. How unlucky! I don't have anything. Oh well. To play on one anyways. I could play the Colonnade in case I want to second turn balance. But because it's going to take a while before this, I think I shell dock now. I will take... Oh. So Mystic Tutor means I could Mystic for my Upheaval in a pinch. And Upheaval will allow me to shell dock again. So I think I'll grab the Mystic Tutor. Also, like, it's versatile. So if I need something else at that point, I could also Mystic for Tinker. If they do, remember, if they play Planeswalker, I can always... Okay, sure. Now it's become interesting. Like, do I play the... I think I... Revoker the Mox. As much as I want to play the Colonnade to be able to balance. This one's just making sure this Mox Jet, sure. Yeah, the good thing about the Revoker is it can hit mana abilities as long as it's non-lands. So hopefully they're dependent on that. Sure, seems like they need the Signet more than the Jet, but you know, you sort of have to, yeah, okay. So they needed it enough where they were going to use that. Good to know. Ooh, and now I have protection of sorts. I want to say they're like Storm or they're Tinker themselves. Okay, I can't do anything about that, but I can balance it. Sure. Maybe I should have. Maybe I oh, there's sneak attack. I do think I need to balance now to get rid of the lands and their thing. Or actually, oh man, I can almost cast Sundering Titan. Sundering Titan. Do I just let them keep their lands? Do I just let them keep their lands? Because the thing is what am I discarding if I have to go down to 4? I'm discarding a land. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to. Oh, geez. But if I let them keep their lands, then next turn. So if I let them keep their lands, I'm definitely gonna have to Spell Pierce to get rid of this this sneak. Because I mean, I'm just gonna have to force, and to force, I'm gonna have to sacrifice this Lotus Bloom, or I can always pitch the Spell Pierce, and then next turn I can Sundo Titan. Yeah, I will let them. I don't have to discard anything if I do it this way, so I'm gonna do it this way. I don't have to discard anything either. So the problem is I need a lot of lands if I'm planning to cast Sundering Titan. So I will do this. It gets rid of their Oracle. If they try to sneak, I think I'm going to pitch the Spell Pierce with the Force of Will. Uh-oh. It's an interesting decision. I think it is just pitch. And then next turn play the Sundering Titan and hope it goes the distance. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now the bad news is it means they get to play sneak attack. The good news is they might not have enough to sneak and use it. If they play any land, they have enough to sneak and use it. There's the sneak attack. No, there's not the sneak attack. Really? Really? Oh, wow. So I was thinking about sacrificing the Lotus to attack with the Colonnade, but now that I have this Cryptic, I think I just chill. I'm not letting a sneak attack hit play. If they bounce or do anything to my... I think I'm okay with that. It is 3 cards, but I'm really worried about is the sneak attack, which they're playing without any blue mana open. Oh wow, and I can also Shell Dock. Or I'm thinking, what would I Mystic for? I think I just Mystic for Ancestral. I think I counterbounce their Thran Dynamo. Is that what I want to do? Yeah, I think that sets them back more than anything else. Now that they have 20 cards, I can, yeah. Okay. Blue. Use this. Mystic. Okay. Upheaval can't cast. Tinker. I could actually tinker out Wurmcoil and set them back a lot. I can attack, tinker for Wurmcoil, make them sack both their breeding pool and their island. Yeah, I think that's the bet. And then I have Wurmcoil, which is a resilient threat. I think that's actually the best thing that I can do. So attack. Let's see what they do. This puts them down to 6. Tinker my Sundering Titan, as weird as that is. Get rid of your breeding pool and your island. So really reduce what they can do. And I've got, I think I've stripped them of a lot of their resources, so I'll be okay. The worst thing they could do is like control magic, but then of course they'd need to be playing control magic and to have another blue. Yeah. Woo! Great. Hey! Oh, I tinkered, so... I think that's one of the first times I've ever tinkered down in mana cost, as in the thing that I got after the tinker had a lower converted mana cost than the thing that I sacrificed for the tinker. That's a good first. But I think it's 100% correct. I really still don't know what their deck was really doing other than sneak attack. So my second fear, if they're a sneak attack deck, is either Through the Breach or Shallow Grave. So if I remove them from as many resources as possible, I took them down below 5 so they can't Through the Breach. And I took them low enough where if the problem with Shallow Grave is you have to find a discard outlet. So unless their discard outlet was literally like Faithless Looting, I removed a lot of those things, like if it was Chart the Course or whatever. So I would like to play first. It's not the best hand, but I won't mulligan because I have Tinker targets. I have all my colors. I think out of the gate, because of things like Wasteland, I'm gonna play an island first. Also, islands can be scary because they might be like, oh, they have Spell Pierce or Force or something. So even if you don't have it, sometimes it pays to represent blue as just a color. I want them to play like Monovault or something. Goblin Guide. Okay, so good news is I might get some lands off the top. Hey, I do. So knowing what this is, I think I jace this turn so that I can Signet and Revoker next turn. Yeah, it's potentially taking 2 more damage, but if they have a burn spell, I'd rather them use it on the Jace because it can't trade for this Goblin Guide. And I can't play Signet and Jace next turn just because the mana I filter through the Signet turns into green-red specifically. Mystic Tutor. Hey, great Mystic Tutor. I can get Tinker. I can Tinker, and then I think Tinkering for a Wurmcoil, if they are red rocks and not, you know, a combo red rocks, Pestromite sort of deck, I think I'll be okay. Kark! Woo! Sorry. It's not just Kark, it's Kurark. Kurark. There's no way I can do it all. I'm going to set a stop during my upkeep. And I think I just Signet and then Revoker so that either way, I know that I have a, what do I name? Dakfaden? How do you spell Dakfaden? What is Dak? What about Faden? How is Dak? Am I just completely off? And D-A-C-K. Oh, it's like Jack, but Dak. Faden. Sure. Now we wait. I wait, I wait, I wait. We'll see what they do. Krark is interesting. Krark is cool, but with cheap burn spells. Actually, Krark is very good with cheap burn spells because you're probably going to have, especially late game, if you have 4 mana, you can easily cast that Lightning Bolt again and then making the Lightning Bolt be... I'm definitely blocking this Krark if they attack. Oh, yes, please. Thank you. Another reason not to Mystic Tutor during my turn is... Oh, Spell Pierce. Hey, look. I will block the Krark. I don't want you having that. And I'd much rather get lands. Now, it's interesting if they play a spell in response to this, then it could Krark it away. And then B, I've saved myself 2 damage. If they burn the Revoker to save their Krark. Because they could have done it before combat. Yeah, why would I block when given 2/2/2s that are functionally the same, why would I block the one that potentially gives me land versus the one that potentially makes your 3 mana? Yep. Please just go back to your hand. Oh no. That's not good at all. Definitely going to need to get that Wurmcoil now. Neither one is hitting Jace? Oh, the second one's going to go towards Jace? Uh-oh, Skiddios. So luckily this Tinker, I'll be able to Tinker with Spell Pierce backup. So that's good for me. Or I could get Balance if they hit this Jace. What? You're only hitting Jace with 1 damage? That's a weird one. Oh, I think because the first one split the damage, the second one has to mirror it in the way that it looks. I'll get rid of this. So that's interesting there to note. I don't necessarily know if I want to balance now. If I balance, let's think about this. Trying to think what I can do. Is this coming off suspend first? Let's see if this comes off suspend. It does come off suspend. So I can actually flip the Jace. Knowing that I can flip the Jace. I'm trying to think what I can do. I can play this. Now watch. If I go for balance, not only does it take care of a lot of the cards in their hand, but I can sacrifice this, play the Mystic Tutor, and then my Jace will then flip it. And I think as powerful as Wurmcoil is, I can get it next turn after I've reduced their hand size by a lot. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it to do. And I might even play the land so that I can... I will have to sacrifice the Lotus Bloom to enable this play. But to be able to flip the Jace. But I think that's okay. So first I'm going to Mystic Tutor. Gotta think about this. Or do I want to... I mean, yeah. Mystic Tutor. Mystic Tutor for, I think I definitely go for the balance. There is Ancestral, but they have 5 cards in their hand. I'd rather reduce their cards in their hand. Get it? Yeah, it's balance. Balance is anything but. Balance. Okay. Now the question is, do I sacrifice my own lands? Or do I... And I can't Jace first. I have to Jace after. I can play a land, and that means they have even less cards in their hand. But it also means I don't need that many more lands. I don't need any more lands, really. So I'm going to play this. Play this. Sack this for white. For the balance. Use this and flip it. Discard the polluted delta, so I still have a spell pierce. This. Use the balance. I could actually spell pierce my own balance, and then they have no cards in their hand, and then they're playing off the top of their deck. I actually really like that idea. So let's play all the mana. I'm going to balance. Pay 1. Spells pierce my own balance. Okay. And then if they can counterspell it, I can always Jace back. Choose 2 lands I can close and then sacrifice the rest. I'm gonna keep the concealed and the island. Done. Yeah, I can even get back. What they have in their hand. Oh wow. So I think I'm now I think I'm just gonna, because they might kill the Jace, and because I need all my mana next turn, I think I down ticket for Mystic, and then Mystic for Tinker. Whoo! Yeah, balance was not balanced. Now they can kill my Jace with a hasty thing. Or a burn. But I'm okay with that. Okay. Draw. Get Tinker. Wait, oh, I did that incorrectly. The signets are always like, okay, you gotta make sure, sacrifice this. I could get the Sundering Titan, but that kind of hurts me. And later game, I can always, like in a turn or two, if they play an island, I can always Tinker again. But I think I'm okay. Like this. Because if they have an Abrade or something, I'd rather have, you know, the tokens as the fallout. And there we go. And I can always balance again to get rid of their hand. But I would, of course, want the Jace to stay alive. So, yep. 1 second. Over sideboarding, I'm going to go pee. Sorry. Oh. Okay, I'm back. He's back. Let's do this. Thinking about what they have. What would I potentially? I mean, this actually is a first strike 2-drop. It's not that bad as far as I don't think I'm going to be upheavaling against a red deck, and I think I might actually want this because it's a first striker. And what else? What else might they want? I think I might want Batterskull as well. And, huh. I don't know if Teferi is the best against red rocks. I don't know if Neferi... I mean, Narset's good because it lets me find specific things. But I might just want, like, Tithe Taker and Wrath. Especially Narset on the, Wrath. This allows me to tinker, which is ever so important. I think Cryptic might be too much, and I'm going to be getting rid of, like, 3 islands for, like, 3 planes. Yeah, submit. I think I need to do that. Because Cryptic is still good, but it's like by the time I get there, they might already have a commanding board presence. So I'm kind of thinking like Wrath of God is fulfilling the Cryptic spot. And then I need these cheapo creatures to sort of just provide roadblocks so I can get to a Tinker for the Wurmcoil or the Batterskull. Or just play the Batterskull for 5. I probably also should have sideboarded in Winds of Abandon so I could have another way to get rid of Kark. But right now I have Swords Balance, Mystic for both of them. I have Wrath of God. Maybe I should have also kept the Narset in as a way to find those cards that I just mentioned. But the thing with like if they're playing a bunch of small creatures and then the Planeswalkers on the block is basically Narset is pay 3 mana, look at the top 4 cards of your deck, and choose a non-creature, non-land among them, and also gain 3 life. That's basically what that spell reads in this matchup. So we'll see what they do. They're thinking a lot about this hand. Either they are AFK or not. We did not do one of these, did we? That is for the Wurmcoil. And it is worth noting that they could have braids. They got a lot of ways of just getting rid of artifacts. So Wurmcoil might be the safer bet because, you know, it sort of breaks apart into the 2 separate worms if they have 1 removal spell versus Sundering Titan if they can get rid of it. Both of us have probably no lands, and functionally that benefits them more than me since they have a lot of things they can cast for 1 and 2, and I do not have as many. Don't get me wrong, the Sundering Titan is a big old boy, and they're not. It's going to be hard for them. I want to say they're not going to be, but that's probably a misstatement. They are probably not going to be burning it to death. But they have weird plays of like they had the Pia Nalar and they have a Zealous Conscript, so they can somehow find themselves with 8 mana. They can always Zealous it then sack it. Okay. Did they like say I'm AFK? Show chat. They got nothing. So I'm just waiting. Hey everyone, how are you? How you doing? Chilling? Oh, great. Cool. Smooth traveling on the trail. Oh, interesting hand. Now, remember the talisman can get me Tinker. So I do think I keep this hand. Now, the weird thing about this hand is if I Gruul Signet 1, I can Gruul Signet 1, and then I can Talisman 2 with the Courtyard and the land, not tapping the Gruul Signet. And then the next turn, I'll have 3 lands, the Gruul Signet, and the Talisman. So I'll be able to use the Talisman, then tinker the Signet. So I think that's the play. And if I'm sacking the now the Talisman, I think is important because I can balance among other things. So I think that is the play, is that I will first turn Gruul Signet, second turn Talisman. I don't have Shelldock out, but Shelldock isn't going to be active for a while. So I'd much rather be able to definitely tinker on my turn 3. And then they played a little blue. If they play an island, that's good for me, because then I can have my island out and it doesn't die to Sundering Titan. Or if I think they're going to be able to Wishclaw for... The good news about against a deck like theirs is I don't think there are Hail Marys they can Wishclaw for. There are good cards they can Wishclaw for, I'm sure, but it's not like they're Wishclawing for their own Tinker, I don't think. I don't imagine. Or Wishclawing for their own Sneak Attack, Emrakul, etc., etc. And because I might be balancing, the overall resource count will be lower, so I don't have to worry too much about them doing like a 4-drop or whatever. Okay, I'm going to keep. And we'll see what you do, opponent. First turn, Goblin Guide. I don't like Polluted Delta in this matchup because any fetch land, anytime my lands are dealing me damage, that's a poop. And maybe I Wishclaw for balance. Oh, wow, they mulligan down to next to nothing. So balance is going to severely hurt me if that's what I... Interesting. But I think it is just this, sack for this. If they play a lot of creatures, I technically could balance. And then if they use the Wishclaw, I can Wishclaw for... I could just balance just to get rid of their Lava Man. Wow, they had to mulligan down a lot. Okay, sure. Land and Time Walk. Uh-oh. So now... Huh. If I... If I Eidolon, then they kind of... Am I pivoting too much if I Eidolon? No, I think the plan... Eidolon is like if they Time Walk, play land, and then Lava Man my Eidolon, then it's still it's an extra turn before I can potentially Wishclaw. So I think it is just I could Wishclaw and use Wishclaw. I don't think that's smart though, because then whatever they get, they have for the Time Walk turn. Like if they get a Goblin Guide or whatever, then they might be able to land Goblin Guide and use it for the Time Walk turn, which means 4 more damage to my face. Hopefully they don't have a land, they just have to Time Walk, and it's like a draw 1, deal me 1 damage. And if they play an island, then I can Sundering. Sure. We'll see what they have. If it's Pia and Nalar, that's a little bit of a problem because then they can use the talisman and sack it. That's not as bad. It does protect them a little bit against balance. Okay, sure. Ouch. Taking a decent amount of damage. I have to play an untapped land. I'll go for the Tundra, why not? I could balance, but I think the thing is definitely to Talisman, get Tinker, Tinker out Wurmcoil. Now there's the play where I play the 2-1. Where is it? Tinker out Wurmcoil. Because Sundering Titan would be devastating for my mana base right now. They do get whatever they want, but they are up against a Wurmcoil, so we'll see. Now, it's not too hard with Krark in play. If they get a lightning bolt, they can double lightning bolt the Wurmcoil, and I'm in a little bit of a pooper. But if they use the talisman, then I get the talisman back, and there's lots of things that I can do then. As long as this Wurmcoil bites a little bit of their resources, I'm fine with that. Whether it's Krark, which is risky. Now, Krark with Time Walk. Oh, that's actually really cool. That's actually, and I just tinkered, so. Hey, Wurmcoil. Release the Wurmcoil engine. Warning, the Wurmcoil engine has escaped. Sure. They can also do things like, if they block with the Lava Man, they can make it ping itself. Maybe they have Snapcaster for the Time Walk as well. But then if a card goes wrong, then they have to, they don't have another shot at it. Okay, draw a card, discard a card. Zealous Conscripts would be troublesome here. Which, look, they have Witchclaw Talisman. They can get whatever they need. Sure, I cannot block. Cannot do anything right now, in fact. I mean, maybe I'm supposed to be bluffing a Force of Will. So I will undo my auto yield. Lava Man. Okay, so now I definitely kind of want a balance. Ooh, Krark and Young Pizzy are good as well, because if it goes back to your hand, then you get to another shot at it. That's fun. So here, I think first things first, I think I attack first, and then I chart a course, and then so if they don't want to let me gain 6, they have to block and then burn their thing. Which I'm okay with because they can always do on their turn anyways. And then if they do use the Lava Man, then I have the Eidolon I can throw out. Ooh, they didn't make a token. So yeah, I think they might be blocking and then burning it with Lava Man, which I'm okay with. Yeah, I'm okay with them burning their... if that Time Walk leaves their graveyard, I am happy. Because I know that... Okay, it doesn't. So, there. I think this is the only black thing I have, so I go like this for my Charter Course. I like, oh boy, howdy! So the problem here is if I want to play Batterskull next turn, I can't. It's like, do I want to play Batterskull or definitely have the protection of Eidolon up? And have this Force of Will protection. Oh! I think it's Colonnade. Wait a second. If they have Zealous Conscripts, they can attack me for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They can kill me if they have exactly land and a Zealous Conscripts. So because of that, I think I will play this Eidolon as a way to blunt more damage. It is unfortunate that I have 2 tapped lands in my hand. If they grab this with the Zealous Conscripts, they deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They only deal 10 because they have to crew this with the Lava Man then. And if they burn the Lava Man on my Eidolon, then they don't have anything to Sacrificial Lamb to the Wurmcoil next turn. And if I can draw either a land or a blue card, then I'll have Force backup. There's only so long that they can do this. Now, this does fuel their Lava Man, which is an issue. But now they have to Lava Man itself. The Krark is troublesome if they have burn in their hand. So surprisingly, the way this game turned out, a lot of intricate things. Via all this tapped stuff. I can draw an untapped land is the thing. Or a blue card, and then I have Force backup. If I have Force backup, I'm not as worried. They got rid of Fire Blast? I mean, maybe because it's too risky to Krark it, but like, that's a win. That's a win right now. Time Walk? Time Warp? Okay, and I can't counterspell it. I need like Revoker is what I need. Wow. They can also Talisman for Zealous Conscripts next turn. So that, what does that allow me to do? Let me think about this now. If I attack with Wurmcoil, I think I have to hope that they don't draw a land, so they can't. This for they can't. Yeah. They have to. In the air, they can attack for 1, 5, and then they can hit me for 9. So if I don't. If they burn me for 2 right now, put me down to 8, they can attack for 5 in the air, put me down to 3. Sack this, and then Lava Man it. So without even dealing with the ground, they can kill me. So I do have to do this Wurmcoil stunt. And if they burn one of the Thopters, then it's one of the 3 damage that they would have gotten. Now I don't have Force up, but I think I have to hope that they don't draw a land. Because watch, if they draw a land, the threat is that they talisman for a Zealous Conscript. But if they draw a land, then they can double sack with the Pianalar. And if I don't play anything, and I don't attack with this, then I'm just dead in the air. Because at the end of the turn they ping me for 2. They kill me. I mean, yeah. I have to attack, and I think I have to play the Batterskull. I will reassess afterwards, but they don't have to play a single spell if I don't attack. They can just win without even drawing a land. If I attack, it sort of puts them at, okay, you need to draw a land and do a thing. If they draw a land, it does tap them out, and then they deal... Yeah, I'm definitely attacking with this. Attack. Deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, they're getting rid of one of the tokens. That's good for me. Sure. I wanna hope that they draw some piddly creature. Batterskull. I'm not out of the woods yet because they can always do the same thing that they're doing with both sacrificing something to Pia Nalar and lava manning something, but that takes resources to do. And the Batterskull has vigilance. So we'll see if they do. Right now, in the air, they can attack for 4. They can attack for 4, they can sack something, and they can lava man me, but then I'm at 2. And then they won't have any recourse if I attack to gain life. So that they've activated the as long as if I make it to this attack without them playing a Zealous Conscript, then I feel good. Now they can get any spell they want, like lightning, like they can talisman for a lightning bolt, and then I kind of have to get lucky because they can keep playing it until it's going to deal 6. So that's another factor, but there is a shot I win in that world versus if I had done things the other way, there is not a shot that I win. So we'll see what's up. They're thinking 2 because it's important. They are getting low on time. Now, they are a red deck, so it's like... What I hate about things like aggressive red decks, etc., is your opponent can burn out so much time in the first 2 games playing super slowly, and then all of a sudden, game 3, when they have 3 minutes, oh, look who is suddenly the fastest player ever. I'm not saying that that's going to happen here. Maybe they have lag issues. Maybe they're really thinking. Maybe they're distracted. I don't know, but more often than not, I've caught people... Not caught people, but... I've suspected people of double queuing, and they don't put much time into their red deck because they figure that, like, oh, you know, I could play a whole game in 2 minutes worth of my clock time if I need to. So we'll see. They might have me dead this turn, in which case, you know, they have 4 full minutes for a game with a red deck, which is enough. And then I do think I throw in the Words of Abandon in the sideboard. Luckily, they're going to have a few triggers. Unluckily, I can't believe they got rid of the Firebolt. The bad news is if they alternate cast the Firebolt and it gets crocked up, they can't do it again. That's the bad news. But I mean, they could always talisman for a mountain. Then they get 2 shots at it. And them dealing me 8 damage definitely wins them the game. Now, you know, 1/4 scenario, you don't win the game and you feel like, oh, I put my hands in luck. But come on, you gotta... Okay, so are they just gonna time out? I think my opponent's just gonna time out, which, you know, you hate to win via timing out, but it is a factor in this, you know, semi-competitive environment with money on the line. So I will take a clock win. I would rather a definitive, hey, I won win. And who knows, maybe it's my internet that's the problem and they're just sitting there waiting for me and my game is just counting down the clock. Here we go. Waiting. Now, once they get below 2 minutes, then it becomes iffy, even for a red deck. Like, a third game... Okay, yep, all of a sudden now... If they win with 10 seconds on their clock, I'm going to be, you know, feel a certain way about it. Because your opponent's super playing slow, and then all of a sudden they pick it up exactly when they need to. I kind of feel like it's being disrespectful to your opponent's time if you do that. But, on the other hand of the coin is like, you did pay for this game, and you did pay for your full allotment of time. So you are allowed to sort of use it. And then you sort of hope that they're using it in the force. Now, to be fair to my opponent, this is a very like, ooh, they have access to their whole deck through Talisman. There's an element of luck with Kark involved. It is very close as far as can they kill me. There's both the Lava Man and the Pia Nalar that they can like use the Pia on 3 different targets. They can use the Talisman and then sack it. They can use it on the Thopter or the Copter or the Plopter or the Bopter. So I would say that, let's say, irrespective of time they're taking this long, I would just be assuming that, oh, my opponent is thinking. My opponent is thinking it's a very difficult turn for them where there are probably multiple roads that they could I don't want to say easily, but they probably definitely have a way to win this turn. No question. I would bet, given the 25 cards in their deck and the Talisman, they have a way that they can win this game this turn. Whether it's easy to be seen or whether it also is dependent on a coin flip, that's difficult. But they get to see 1 extra card with this Thopter. Okay, they get rid of a creature, which I'm imagining is their draw, was their draw. So I don't get to block with my lifelinkers. I am now down to 6. So technically I am a Lava Man. Okay, so they are going to Talisman. They might Pia Nalar in response. Maybe they were getting a land. Okay, they did not Pia Nalar in response. So if they just got a lightning bolt, yeah. So now it's all up to Kark. I have to win a lot of flips here. And I didn't win a single one. That's okay. And, you know, it's a 50% chance. So, yep. Yep. I'll take it. And they have 1 minute left to play this final game. I think I definitely want this, Winds of Abandon, not Words of Abandon. What do I not want? I haven't really seen a way for them to get rid of any of these. Things that I don't want are expensive things. But like, I mean, bleh. Maybe I don't want this. They do have Thopters. Thopters and Copters. Maybe it's Trinket Mage for Words of Abandon or Unexpectedly Absent. But this allows me to tinker. Tinker is my most likely... Yeah, I think I'm actually okay with my deck. And we'll see what's what. I would like to play first. I'll even keep this, because this at least makes them interact with me, I think, a little bit. Like if they're spending time to burn Jade. Like now, unfortunately, this game has become a fight against their clock, not a fight against them. So like this probably provokes a response, which is a little bit of time. This probably provokes... Okay, yeah. Good game. Sorry, opponent. Can I show my chat? Can I say good games? Okay, well, okay. It's just a poop all around. I'm sure they feel terrible, and they're like, oh, I could have won this third game, and it's very possible that they could have. Ideally, you want to play because of the cleverness of your mind, not because of some mechanical clock ticking down. But I'll take it. And that wasn't the worst hand. How I imagine that game goes is I play a land, they play some sort of creature. Or maybe they were about to mulligan, and it was too iffy of a hand on their side, and so they're like, oh, I need to think about this, but I only have a minute of clock, and they got stressed out. And look, for the $10 entry fee of a Vintage Cube draft, if you're gonna get super stressed about the time and the mulligan decision, like, I don't know what your financial situation is, but a lot of times if you get super stressed because of, not even because of the $10, because you can still, like, you can win. Y'all get it. It's like, really the outcome of any one game is worth $5 because you're either winning or losing $5 or 50 play points on it. So $5 for something that could potentially, like, ruin your whole evening, or even, like, maybe 30 minutes of your time. It might just be like, okay, yeah, this isn't worth it to me. I'm just going to concede rather than, like, hate myself more in these moments. You got to pull that trigger, because this is a game. This hand doesn't do anything except for Force and Frost Titan, so I think I mulligan. I have Ancestral Recall. Like, yeah. I gotta keep, and I'm gonna get rid of this Wish Claw. And what I'm gonna do is I can play this, and I can second turn balance. I might second turn balance. I'm gonna put this on the bottom. Done. Suspend this, play this. And now I only have, 4 cards in hand. Do I wait to balance until they've... It's an interesting thought. So I need to set a stop here. I think I wait to balance. The question is, do I try to Mystic Tutor for an Ancestral, knowing I might balance in the future? I think it is worth it. I might just be balancing to get rid of their creatures and maybe their lands that they get above me. So I will grab an Ancestral. That's that. Now the question becomes, do I Ancestral prior to the balance, or do I do it after the balance? I think I can always wait until at the end of their turn, regardless. So I think I see what they do. I might be Ancestraling then playing this to Fairy. If I can play this to Fairy. If I play this to Fairy, then their search doesn't kick off. So it does sort of behoove me to play this to Fairy. And to do that, I need an extra land. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Oh, wow. Okay, so did not get the extra land. If I balance, everything stays the same except I get rid of their Raphellos. I'd rather wait. I think I'd rather wait. Wow. Because maybe they play something expensive with this Raphellos that I can also get with my balance. Ugh. Not drawing a land in all those cards was definitely not ideal, but I can get some of their lands if I wait, and I think that might be the deciding factor here. I don't need that many cards in my hand. I maybe only need I'm about to force probably something. Against their deck, probably I'm going to get rid of the Upheaval. We'll see if there's a way to use this Thieving Skydiver. I have a feeling there won't be, but there might be. They're going to get a forest, I imagine, and then they have a lot of mana. But remember, I can always force it. And I don't mind them having more lands because the balance will take care of that. And I'd rather them take the land out of their deck. A, it helps my Shell Dock, and then B, Did not expect blue from them. Whew. Okay, what you got? 1, 2. If it's a creature, I don't care. I'd rather keep the force as protection for my balance. Time Walk. Time Walk. Do I care? I do, right? Because then they can potentially play 2 Hail Marys. They have 5 mana left, and then they can do something else big. So I think I do care about this. It also means their blue is tapped. So bye-bye, Time Walk. None for me, please. No, thank you. Okay, sure. The good news is whether they sack this for land or not, either way, the balance makes it where I don't... Oh, I can also play the Tef first. Right now, if I play the Teferi, then they don't... Yeah, I'm going to play the Teferi. Then I can't play Wurmcoil, but then I have a Teferi against 2 lands, and then I can also play the Thief. I think that's better. I do think that's better. And then they have a Force of Will. Now, if I play my land, it means they have to discard a card, but they get to pick the card. I'd rather have the land. Yeah, I think this is the way to go. So, what do? I tap this for 3 white. I play the Teferi. So I know they don't have any counterspells if this hits. Great. I play the Balance, making sure they only have 2 lands. Neither of us discards cards. Oh, shoot. So there is an argument for balancing during their draw step, but then I wouldn't be able to play this land. And they get to pick the card they discard. Why would you thin your deck more? Maybe they have Shelldock as well themselves, or they just need that. Or they don't want to draw lands because they have enough in their hand. Play land. I'm just going to uptick. There we go. And now I feel decent about this position. Yeah, I'd rather them have one less land than 1 less card of their choice in their hand. This creature land is a little bit of a issue. Now the good news is I'm about to have a blocker. And then in a pinch, if I need to, I can always bounce my Thieving Skydiver and throw it back down to get an artifact of theirs, if it's cheap. Them just playing lands is troublesome. I know they can't play anything now. Ooh, I'm going to attack first, so I get functionally all the cards here. It leaves my Tef exposed, but at most it's going to take 3, and that's their whole turn. Wow, love that. I could bounce this and then play it again, but I think I wait until next turn to do that. Because I don't want my Tef to die in case they have Force of Will or something. And now I have Spell Pierce as some protection. Sure. It's going to take them a few turns of them attacking my Tef that way to kill it. I can always up my Lotus Petal. I think now the play is to bounce my Lotus Petal, see if I can draw an untapped land. I do. Play a land. This leaves me exposed, but I think it's the correct play because it shuts them off of land. Tap this, keep it tapped. Now note, I can't do that next turn if they leave all their mana up because they can make it a creature in response. But then I have a Frost Titan. Sure, Harmonize. I maybe would have liked to Spell Pierce that, but I'm okay with the situation as is. I'm feeling pretty good. I have them in 2 turns. Do you pay 3? is the question. To play like a mana dork? I wonder. If they do, then I think I try to play this Wurmcoil engine. Because they might be playing more block. They might be trying to play like a Primeval Titan or something. And then in which case having... Oh, wow. 2/6. Okay, so... Up. Now the question is, do they have something like Upheaval? I think... If they have Upheaval, I get first crack, but they have creatures, so I think I'm more likely to die to an Upheaval than anything else, so I think I'm going to leave Counterspell mana back. Because if they just have one creature, I can always Frosty Titan it. Okay, yeah, so I win, unless they can play another 1-drop, which they could. And I know now more of their deck. And I didn't tinker this turn, so no escaping the lab sound effect. I think I Spell Pierce this, believe it or not. Bye! In case they need it for a 1-drop. Yep. Hey, I know what I'm doing. Surprise, surprise. Here, I think Wrath of God is going to be very important. Other than that, I mean, maybe I need a Winds of Abandon, but I think I do like Wrath of God. I think I don't like Upheaval so much since they have all those cheap creature things. Do I want Winds of Abandon maybe instead of Cryptic? I think I'd take out 2 of these, put in 2 planes, and now I'm okay. Because as is, I only have like 4 planes. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I have 6, 7. Yeah, I'm okay with this. So while Upheaval is a way to reset the game, because they have things like Raphaelos, if I Upheaval, chances are they recover faster than I do, and because they're going to be on the play, it's not like I can wait till turn 9 or whatever to Upheaval. So unless I have specifically my Lotus, it's not... Oh, okay, I'll keep this. Force of Will is a sort of catch-all. I can get rid of the Skydiver. I can't... I'm not going to Force of Will a Ponder. I would Spell Pierce it. I'm not going to force it. I think first turn I polluted Delta and grab... I do have 1 Swamp, and I might need to get that Swamp for Wishclaw Talisman, so maybe I don't polluted Delta on turn 1. That's interesting. It's good to know that I have. Yeah, sure. Nothing against that. Speaking of, now the question becomes, do I leave counterspells up or do I Wishclaw? What am I Wishclawing for? So, interesting. I think I Wishclaw on, I Wishclaw next turn. I play Wishclaw next turn because on turn 4, I can use the no. It takes me 5 mana to be able to use the Wishclaw and Skydiver it back. So that's the turn in which I plan to use it. And now I'm just going to leave up Spell Pierce and Force of Will. Skull Clamp, I don't care enough about now in the, just like in the raw. Sure. Oh, I can grab that, actually. I can steal that. I do think, I'm going to suspend this. I do think it's worth stealing the Cast with Kicker, stealing the Skull Clamp, especially because I can Skull Clamp my own Skydiver. And I have Force backup. Oh, if it's equipment, do you automatically... Oh, hey, look, I get to draw the 2 cards immediately. That's fun. Note now, the Polluted Delta cannot get the black because the 1 black is in my hand. Something I need to remember via this Wish Claw. If it, yeah, if I would say if it is a creature, yeah, no, I can't let this hit. Just because of, if I let it, yeah, it means I can get rid of one of their lands, but then they can keep making their other lands creatures. It's just too untenable. Wish I could Spell Pierce it, but maybe I go for a Wish Claw. I was gonna say Tinker for this Sundering Titan, but apparently that is not in the literal haha cards. I think I play Wish Claw in case I need to use it next turn on something. Although playing that Swamp made my Sundering Titan way worse for me if I plan to Lotus Bloom it out. Okay, birds, sure. Let's play one other creature. Ugh. Yeah, I can't justify, like, burning my Wrath right now. I do not, because they could have Upheaval, I don't want to use the talisman now. Okay, sure. I'm glad I took the Skull Clamp because then their birds, everything could just become more mana. What I could do is I could Talisman for Teferi. Do I think they have counterspells? I don't know. I could Talisman for Teferi. Bounce the Talisman. Talisman, sure. This is risky, but I'm going to do it. For Teferi. Play Teferi. Bounce the Talisman. They can't play any instants or sorceries. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next turn I can do things. I'm going to Lotus Petal. Play Shelldock. Oh, wow. As much as I want to balance with this, I think I leave balance in my deck and I go... So if they do have Upheaval, which is what I am afraid of, I would run... I think if they had Upheaval, they would have used it. So I'm going to do this. And hope that's not a mistake. And I'm not going to burn my fast mana on this Talisman because I might need it in case they... And then the next turn what I can do is I can Tef up Wrath at the end of their... No! Oh, okay. Craterhoof. Craterhoof is not as much damage as you might think. And then they probably kill my Tef. Whew. Whew. That was a close one. So they probably are killing my Tef and dealing me damage. Yeah. Sure. They have... Oh, so now that... Why would they play out their hand like that? So now if push comes to shove, and it might, I can always use this in response to an upheaval so that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 otherwise. Yeah, use this. At the end of the turn, I don't need to Wish Claw. Yeah, next turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I feel comfortable without sacrificing my Lotus to play this, to be able to, because like, there's no way I tap 2 for the Talisman, then I have to use the Petal for the Shell Dock. I'd rather not do that. Or conversely, I sack the Petal to cast the Talisman and I use the Island for the Shell Dock. And now if they Upheaval, they just have lands. I need to play this Talisman before I play the Sundering, because I'm going to lose this Swamp. Wow. Oh, okay, sure. About to say, like, yep, I don't have anything against it. Please get a weird mana type, like a Swamp. No, they did not. They did not get a Swamp. Whee! Woo! Wurmcoil! Wurmcoil! That's an interesting one. So how much mana do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I have 11. Trying to think what I can do. I don't want to Talisman and just tap the Primeval Titan. I don't want to Talisman. If I Talisman for Frost Titan, then I tap the... Maybe I attack first and see what they do. I can also... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I can equip this to that. So I'll do that. Also because it gains me another life. Why not? An attack. Sure. Nothing. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I think I play an island so that I don't have to sack. Yeah. So I'm gonna play the Talisman. Play this. Then going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cast the Sundering Titan. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if they attack with their Titan, it dies. And next turn I can Talisman for a Frost Titan and then play it. The big things are like Sower. Jace is bad too. Luckily I have 2 threats here. And if they bounce the Sundering Titan, I can't play it again, but I can... Sure, it does sort of burn them more than it does burn me. Well, they can prime time extra lands into play. So I do need to get rid of that, but it doesn't matter so much. I've played my expensive white things. Technically, I still have this Lotus Petal. So we'll see what they... So What do I want to do? So I can... What's in my deck? I can Lotus for a lot of things. Change deck. Or I mean, Talisman for... I could Talisman for like... If I Talisman, I want to tap it down. So really, I should be Talismaning for... I think I just attack the Jace with the Wurmcoil, see if they block, and then take it up from there. Jace. Because it has the power to bounce, and it's like, I want, okay, sure. Yep, I get to draw 2. Now you can bounce one of my things, but that's okay. I can Jace, but I think the smart play here is Talisman for Frost Titan, tap down the Talisman. And then I have a lot of threats. Talisman for Frost Titan. Frost Titan, the Talisman. Now I can constantly play the Frost Titan if I need to. You can bounce one of my tokens, but that's okay. Then I can definitely kill the Jace. Slowly ticking up to the Sundering Titan. A lot of their lands are dead, like literally one. Now the bad news about that is their threat density goes up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lands. Now I wonder if they Fate Seal or Jace bounce. Luckily the Frost Titan is pretty resilient as far as, okay, sure. Now they can't use their lumbering. I can kill them. If they don't bounce something, I kill them. I can attach the Skull Clamp to something, tap the cursor, and deal exactly 13. So they do have to Jace bounce, or else they die. And this is non-creature, or this just says artifact? Okay, so they do have to Jace bounce. Makes sense, sure. Jace bounce has occurred. Okay, sure. Now what? If I'm getting back my Jace, what's the best spell I can replay? I don't know how many win conditions I have left in my deck. I think it's still, well, yeah, I think it's keep the Talisman down, attack the Jace. Is it? Yeah, it's attack the Jace because otherwise they can bounce things. I'm slowly getting up to a Sundering Titan. Like this. Oh, I'd like to get rid of this Jace. Now, here's the thing. Technically, I know... What could they have for... They could have Natural Order. Natural Order of Progenitus would be very bad for me. I always have a Wrath of God if I need it, though, in response to that. So I think I tap the Courser and attack them. Oh, then I should have... Yeah, I think I tap the Courser, hit them. If they want to use this, they can. Because they can only draw one card. So this is going to attack the Jace. This is going to attack them. It really should have had the Skull Clamp attacked here. I'm going to tap this. It puts them down to 7. It means they have to find a way to... Yeah, I'm okay with this. Because otherwise, what they can do is they play the Acidic Slime. They get rid of my token. Then my Frost Titan has a Death Touch blocker against it. I have to. They can't play the Acidic Slime, but they can play the Acidic Slime and use the Talisman, but then they won't have any mana left open. If they gain a life, I could be pooped because of this Skull Clamp problem. I think. Wow. I think this is the turn to do it because they might want to play this Acidic Slime. So, yeah, this is the turn to do it. I don't need to worry about bribery or anything like that unless they have a land on the top of their deck. This kills the Jace. I do draw two. What I should have had is I should have had the Skull Clamp attached to my Frost Titan. Okay, Garrett, great. It's not a land. And, oh yeah, and if they do play a land, go get something with the Wishclaw Talisman and then get a land. There's lots of things I can do as far as, okay, great, sure. I can now kill them. Woo! Oh, that was a fight in the end there. I definitely made a mistake, but hey, look at that. And a trophy, as always, at the end of everything. Got to say, like, comment, subscribe, smash that bell, and check out other videos. Bye.